So I've had a petrol car, a 1 litre petrol tiny little engine, and I've had the Skoda Fabia VRS, which was a 1.9 turbo diesel. So a big engined diesel car and a small engine petrol car. One of the biggest talking points in England is the fuel prices, and well, that's it really. Like the cost to live, fuel is a massive thing. So I'm just going to say my personal experience from a big engined diesel car and a small engine petrol car, what I would have, what I prefer, what I think makes the most sense financially. There are a couple factors to take into account. So the Skoda was stage 1 and it did have a hole in the exhaust, which probably made the fuel economy worse. It was also 104,000 miles. This is on 22. Both cars have 6 gears, which is a positive for both. So like if you are doing like motorway speeds, you have got that 6th gear, so you're not screaming it in revs. And the Skoda was me, just like, it was me. It was my right foot. I controlled the fuel economy. The petrol car in question does have eco mode, which like makes everything less sensitive, which should be better on fuel. So far, everything's going the petrol car's way, and we haven't even got onto the points yet. So for just driving around town, my Fiesta, the petrol car, is perfect. I get, if I'm doing 30 with the cruise control on, I think I get about 76 miles to the gallon, which is insane. I think the Skoda was getting somewhere between 40 and 60 around town. It's sometimes got a bit more. The difference is as soon as you get onto the motorway speed. So as I said, this car has got 6 gears and it sits at around 2,500 revs, maybe a bit less or more, around there though. But it just drinks fuel. Like I haven't actually checked the fuel economy when I'm on motorway roads or like dual carriageways, but you can almost see the gauge going down. Like it is terrible. Whereas my Skoda, the 1.9 diesel, would almost gain fuel. Like, I mean, them engines in specific are known to like not use fuel. Like they're so fuel efficient. But yeah, the range would just climb and climb and climb. Whereas this, it does struggle despite the 6 gears. So I guess that point kind of goes to, I don't know if we're even going to do a point in system. I think the diesel would win that because around town it's still good. And then if you do want to go out of town onto like a motorway or a dual carriageway, it can like quite easily. Now price, this is the biggest talking point. So when I had my Fabia, premium fuel was about £2.10, £2.5 a litre. Whereas premium fuel for the petrol car, now I have it, is around 190. That's like quite a significant difference. And for a full tank, it would be a difference between, from what I've seen, around 10 to 20 quid, depending on price. The petrol car being £10 cheaper, like I should call it £10. It was £10 cheaper than the Fabia. The difference is I'm having to fill this up more. So although it's costing me less, it's actually costing me more because I'm having to do it more times. So a tank on this might last maybe 2 weeks if I'm like really not driving far. Whereas the Fabia, I could make it last a month easily. Not that car ever went a month without having something break. So I think there is obviously like electric cars or like mild hybrid cars. I think realistically getting a diesel car now, if it's for the long term, it's not smart because all the bans are coming in. There's like the ULEZ zone, I think it's called, in London, which is just expanding. And cars like the Fabia, you can't really take into them kind of zones. So there's bans for the pollution and stuff. That's where the petrol cars, especially the small engine ones, do come in. And if you've got, as I said, an electric car or a mild hybrid, like that is the way forward. I think as much as I like the diesel efficiency, I think all the bans coming in, all the prices, it doesn't make sense to keep a diesel car anymore. There's obviously the other problems where like a diesel car, when it's just sat still, can sound like a tractor from the engine noise, whereas the petrol cars typically do sound quite nice or quite quiet. I think from a financial standpoint right now, diesel is the better choice. But for a long-term car, like 5 years, 10 years, petrol or mild hybrid or even electric is the better choice. As I said, this is just based on my personal experience with my 1 litre petrol and my 1.9 diesel. I would take the 1.9 over this engine, but as I said, I don't need to travel far. I don't know if I said that. I don't need to travel far, so like the motorway problems, the dual carriageway problems, they're not actually a problem. Just drive around town, the fuel is perfect. So yeah, I don't really know if that helped anyone. I thought it was just a cool video to make. It's quite a big talking point, so I'll just speak on my reaction, because in the last 2 months I have owned both. Hopefully I'll see you again. Like and subscribe, comment your thoughts, comment any suggestions, whatever, and yeah, cheers.